Moving now to Tom Gresham. Tom, how are you, sir?
You guys doing?
We are doing so well. Thanks for being with us here. As the year winds down, you had a great piece. More guns equals less crime across USA in 2010. And there's a graphic in here. This piece was on Ammo Land. Crime rates down across the board. So, Tom, tell us what's going on here.
Well, the FBI, of course, puts out its uniform crime reports every year, and they pretty much track crime rates and what's going on. What is interesting about this is it's not surprising that crime is going down. It has been trending down for quite some time. But what's interesting is the juxtaposition. We've had 2 years of absolutely record gun sales, record ammo sales. I mean, people remember when you couldn't find ammo. You couldn't find an AR to buy. Gun sales were up 25% a year, which is astounding. I mean, they're happy for a 2 to 5% increase. So what we've got is record gun sales, record ammo sales. We've gotten rid of permit requirements for concealed carry in Alaska and Arizona. And we've got more states coming on board with concealed carry, and crime rates are going down. So once again, for 20 years, they've been telling us, well, blood will run in the streets,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. Here we go again. And I look, in this piece I said, okay, let's be honest. I cannot say that more guns cause the reduction in crime. There are way too many variables to be able to just make that simple statement. But what we can say, we know this absolutely clearly, is that more guns did not equal more crime.
Right. Absolutely. So let's look at some of these numbers. I'm once again, murder down, forcible rape, robbery, aggravated assault, burglary, larceny, theft, motor vehicle theft, arson. The numbers are all down. Yet like you said, I mean, we've had record gun sales, and it's an interesting. Like I said, Tom, we can't kind of put 2 and 2 together and get 5, but sure is interesting statistics here, my friend.
Well, we know what didn't happen. We know that crime did not go up, with an increase in gun sales. And once again, I mean, it's one of those deals that after a while you kind of feel like, haven't we been doing this for a while? And the general media doesn't get it. But it's real simple because they don't want to get it. They want to carry the water for the Brady campaign. And so they will simply ignore this. You will not see an article that puts those two together anywhere, other than maybe the NRA publications and what we do with the radio show and the TV shows.
Absolutely.
Tom, you were looking into to next year. I read a piece today. I don't know who from the Brady campaign said it, but it's pretty much saying now it's time for the Obama administration to get serious about gun control. And to get serious about the arms from Mexico, and to get serious about the border gun stores, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It seemed like getting away from gun control was the modus operandi of this administration almost, but now is 2011 going to be, is it dangerous for gun owners as we look to the new year?
It's a great question, and without a doubt, I've been saying for 2 years, I said, look, Obama will do absolutely nothing until midterm elections. Right. And, even in the election, we had, unfortunately, a lot of gun owners saying, well, he won't be able to do anything about gun control because the Congress won't let him. And I kept saying, you don't get it. It's not going to be the Congress. He is not going to push for gun control laws,
right.
And he doesn't have to. So now what are we seeing? We're seeing this unbelievably bad nominee for head of the ATF. Mm-hmm. We're seeing the U.S. State Department blocking the importation of M1 Garands, for heaven's sakes, from Korea, guns that were made here, great history pieces, great guns to buy. So the State Department blocks that. Now we see ATF saying they want to require reporting on multiple firearm sales. Buy 2 Ruger 10/22 rifles, and they want to report that as a multiple sale. It goes on and on. So what we're going to see is this is going to come about from agencies and bureaucracies, not from gun control laws being passed. And then the Democrats and Obama will be able to say, yeah, see, he didn't call for any new gun control laws. But in the meantime, we're losing gun rights.
And Tom, perhaps it's like we saw initially, the gun control people couldn't get done legislatively what they wanted to do, so they went to the courts. And they've had, recent history, not a whole lot of success doing that. So perhaps this is the next strategy. Working through a friendly administration, through a lot of different bureaucracies in places like the ATF, and doing things like that, little piece here, a piece here, and just trying to get it done.
Well, the fix is in. This nominee to ATF, this is Obama's payoff to the Brady campaign.
Right.
Simple as that. I mean, that's anybody that doesn't get that just has not been paying attention.
I'm going on the web now here, Tom, and I'm seeing the article was by Dennis Hennigan, who was the vice president of the Brady Center, and
right.
They're saying the ATF is saying that this is just going to apply to the border states, Texas and New Mexico, Arizona, California, and only for a 1-year period. It's the whole camel's nose in the tent, isn't it?
You know what? Take a look. First of all, the ATF does not have the legal authority to do this. I mean, that's the first thing. This is not a legal action for ATF to take. Secondly, they're required to open this up for 90-day public comment. They've done it for 30 days through the holidays and made it very difficult to get public comment on it. So even if they say we're going to do it, I don't think it'll stand. I think it'll be challenged in court. And Lord knows, thank goodness, we've got a lot of really good attorneys working on the gun rights side these days. I will tell you, I don't know if you guys have been following this. I'm sure you have. It's gotten to the point where when the NRA lawyers and Alan Gores of the world show up, a lot of these cities and states and agencies, they fold their tents and go home just because our guys now show up.
Yeah, when they walk into the room basically and show up.
Well, when we got a track record and say, basically, I don't want to mess with these guys because I'm going to get beaten again.
Tom, I'm sorry.
Yes, no, go ahead.
We just earlier this hour we played our interview with Brian Aitken. Ginny Simone talked to Brian.
Yeah.
I know, of course, you followed this case as well. What have your listeners been saying about it, and what do you see in this story?
Well, Evan Napen's a good friend of mine. We work together on knife rights. I'm on the board of that group also, and the problem, and you guys have pointed out, is exactly. It's one thing to get Brian out of jail, and it looks like we're accomplished that. But he still is a convicted felon, so he's lost gun rights for the rest of his life on this planet. So the hard part is now you got to go ahead and press the appeal and win the appeal so that it turns out, if he wins on appeal, I mean, I hope people understand, that means he simply doesn't have a conviction. It goes away. Now, and there are I heard the question that your listener posed. It was a great one. Is okay? Does that show up on a NICS check? The answer is yes, it does. But then what he's got to do, and Evan will help him with that, go in with the FBI and enter all that information so he's not denied on a NICS check. But that's just another step of this lengthy, burdensome, and frankly, very, very scary path that he's been forced to take. And it's scary for the rest of us because if you're trying to obey the law and you're doing everything you can and you call the state and say, what do I have to do to be legal with my guns? And they tell you, and then you get arrested and put in jail for 7 years, that's just frightening.
Yeah, and it's a guy trying to do the right thing. And the wrong thing was done to him, and this story is still so fresh and so new, guys. It's still sort of rolling out. When we talked to Evan last week, and Ginny just spoke to Brian today because he was on a train going from point A to point B, getting to where he needs to be for the Christmas holiday. But we spoke with Evan right away, and he didn't know, quite frankly, what was going to happen because he's still working all this out. And as great of an attorney as he is, there's a lot to be sorted through here. I mean, it's wonderful what Chris Christie did for him, but you're right. The guy was still severely wronged here, and there's still a lot of damage being done to him, to his rights, and his ability to own guns.
And there's other judges in this country who would do the exact same thing if allowed to.
Oh yeah, and that's a whole other issue, Cameron. We've been talking about this.
They're doing it right now. But guys, look, it's great to give Evan credit. He did a lot, but I don't want you to pass up the chance. People should know what you guys did and what we did, and what they did, what every gun owner did in contacting the governor's office. Governor Christie did not do this simply because he thought it was a good idea.
Right.
He did this because he got tens of thousands of calls and emails and faxes from gun owners, from NRA members who said, quite simply, this is an injustice. and then said, and I will never come to New Jersey for tourism as long as you do this, because I'm simply afraid to come to your state.
Yeah.
Now, it's one thing to say, well, he did it out of the, because he thought it was the right thing. No, that's not what happened. He did it because NRA members stepped up.
Yeah, and you're right, and I agree with you, Tom. I'd be afraid to go there because this guy, once again, this is another case where the guy didn't think he was doing anything wrong, and all of a sudden, forget about losing your gun rights. He was taken and thrown into jail, and just listening to this interview with Ginny, talking to him, this is going to have a serious impact on this guy for the rest of his life. The time that he spent in there, and his rights taken away, and his dignity, and the whole 9 yards, and thrown into a jail there. That's not something we want to happen to anybody.
No, and at a certain point, you want to say, well, are there any ramifications? Is there any course of action available to go after those who did this to him? And the answer, quite frankly, is no. There's nothing that can be done. They are untouchable until and unless we go in and change the system. And in this case, that means going in and changing the laws. And frankly, every time a district attorney does something like this, like District Attorney Cyrus Vance up in New York with the knife, you got to get them unelected. You got to go and say, okay, that's how we get a hold of you, is we're going to get you and we're going to find you another line of work. And I don't care what it is, as long as it's not being the DA.
Tom Gresham is joining us from Gun Talk Radio. Tom, you've been very generous with your time. One more question before we let you go. You talk to many people around the country as well as us, and what are you hearing? You hear all these anecdotal stories about the hunting is not being practiced as much. The shooting sports aren't being practiced as much. Kids are watching the video games and they're playing inside and they're not going anywhere. What are you hearing about this, and what is your suggestions on combating this?
Yeah, it's a great question because hunting is really the gateway to get people into the shooting sports altogether. Generally, that's how we get into it. So, yes, hunting numbers are still trending down. There are a number of reasons for this. Probably the NSSF has the best data on that. What can we do about it? Well, actually, each of us has the ability. We have the ability to take care of this. Kids still want to go hunting. They like the idea of getting out. Access is a huge problem. Single-parent families are a huge problem in terms of getting people out hunting. So what can we do? Each one of us can turn around and find a kid, a youngster, boy or girl, who's in the neighborhood, in your family, in a scout troop, in your church, I don't care where, and take them hunting. That, if you want to preserve hunting, that has to happen. It's not like, well, I hope somebody else does it, because somebody else is not going to do it. Each one of us has to find some kid or some two kids and take them out hunting, get them involved, get them to a hunter safety class. There really is nothing else. We got to have access, but there are agencies. The NRA's working on that. NSSF works on that. Game departments work on that. But none of that does any good if we don't get them out there, and it's up to us to do it.
In other words, Tom, we could talk about this all day. We just got to actually do it. And it's one-on-one. It's grabbing somebody and going out and doing it. It's mentoring somebody, introducing them to hunting or the shooting sports, and just getting it done.
And the thing we got going on for us that works, that is our secret weapon, is that the other side has hate and fear, and we have fun, because the things that we do are not only right, they're not only good, but they're fun, and that beats everything else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it seems like this side of the argument, Tom, is always happier. We always have more fun. The other side is just a little bit angrier and a little bit nastier. Maybe they should just get outside and enjoy the outdoors, too, and see the beauty that is this country, and maybe they'll calm down.
There you go. Take an anti-hunter out hunting. There you go.
I love it. Tom Gresham.
Thanks, Tom.
Gun Talk Radio. Thanks for being with us, sir.
Guys.
Have a wonderful Christmas and a great New Year. We'll talk to you soon.
Merry Christmas.